Hello everyone, Specter here and welcome to Star Citizen. Today is the 2955 IAE. So today is the first day. Basically, it's for RSI ships, rental only. But CIG, just like last time, they put all the ships in the same room again. Basically, it's a very good idea. Anyway, sorry about not making videos for a long time. I actually got a lot of video, but basically I didn't have time to really edit it yet, so that's why. Yeah, so before further ado, let's get to it first. And one more thing, when I try to describe the ships or talk about the ships, I'm only talking about those newer ships instead of all the ships, because well, you can find all those ships description in my previous videos anyway. So I just want to make this video a little bit more efficient. So only those newer ships, alright? So yeah, let's take a look first. Okay, first ship of the day would be this RSI Salvation, which is a little tiny starter salvaging ship, which is very cute and tiny, as you can see in here. Just like the Golem last year, or previous, I don't know, like basically last year, I believe. So basically, it's a starter ship. So it's an introduction of salvaging. It won't be doing much because it's a starter ship after all. You got 6 SCU worth of cargo capacity in here, and if you finishing, after you scoped up all the things and to produce those boxes, then it will be automatically produced from here. This door will print all the boxes out, just like the fortune, the misfortune, and automatically placed on these racks. And when the time you offloading them, you just press this button like this, then you can have an easier time to offload those boxes. And just like the Golem, this is the only interior you got, which is the cockpit. So those MFDs, basically they copy a little bit from the Mantis or Scorpius, so easier for you to observe the area. And you got a self-destruct button in here. Just be aware, don't press it, alright? If you press it, remember to, press it again to cancel it out, because basically I don't know why it's so easy for you to, access to the self-destruct button like this when you're looking around, right? So this ship itself is cost about $55 for World 1 price right now, and $60 for standard price. I would say if you really want to aim for, some sort of career at the beginning instead of doing multiple stuff, then yeah, this might be a ship that you might want to access to directly if you decided to join the game. But yeah, as I said, it's a starter ship after all, so it won't be extremely profitable comparing to even for the smaller salvaging ship like a Vulture or Misfortune. Yeah, but anyway, it's a very good looking ship after all. Quite nice. And here comes the Kruger new inventions. They produced 2 ships, recently. The L21 Wolf and L22 Alpha Wolf. So the Wolf is the first variant of it, which got 2 size 4 ballistic Gatling guns, which is fixed weaponry, I believe. You can't really change to something else. You can take it off, but you can't really change to something else, I believe. Yeah, at least I tried, but yeah, it's not very successful. And also this Alpha Wolf, comparing to that Wolf, this L22 basically got 2 size 4 laser repeaters instead. So if you talk about like ammo capacity, probably this ship can outclass the L21 Wolf. But to be fair, Both of them are light fighters after all, and their armor is not great as a fighter. So basically, it's quite vulnerable, and I would consider like not ideal for new players to use these ships for bounty missions, especially for higher class bounty missions, because it's quite hard for me to survive, to be honest. But one thing CIG really listen is that they take away the fins down there, which when the time you employ it, when you raise up your landing gear, you got a fins, right? So it seems like they removed it, which is great, right? So when you crash landing, at least that fin will not be in the way. So talk about exterior, then let's see. You're supposed to have some weapon racks in here, I believe. I'm not so sure where, I forgot already. And you got some components in here, which is very good. Easy to access. And now in here is the pilot seat. So basically just climb all the way and head into it, just like the World War II fighters. And the interior itself is not that great, but it's still okay. And your sight is very clear, to be honest. And the L22 Alpha Prime, it'd be something looks like this. Similar thing. And those interface MFDs is a little bit different, but similar still. And both of them are very good looking ship, especially they looks like a little bit World War II planes as well as, you know, Star Wars planes. So you really can tell that they put some effort, kind of effort, to make these ships, although it's not really entirely their effort, because, you know, some of these ideas is like borrowed from the other sci-fi movies, right? After all. Yeah, but still, interesting ship to fly around. Acceleration is very great. Maybe in the future they will make, you know, the racing variant as well. Who knows, right? Okay, let's move on. On the other side of the room, you can see this RSI Meteor, which is a variant of the RSI Mantis, which is the interdiction ship. So this ship is a heavy fighter, being classified as just like, basically, it's a Mantis with a lot of guns. Normally, Mantis only have these guns, right? These guns, only 2 of them, size 3s. But now you can see a lot of guns, especially on top. You've got those huge guns in here. Those are size 5 ballistic cannons. These are. But to be honest, I think that is one part of CIG being lazy, because they just put a variant and put a lot of guns on it and just claim that it's a different thing, right? It's a heavy fighter, which is not the case, because when you take a closer look, so basically the elevator is the same as the Mantis, and even for this toilet, I believe, yeah. Let's see. This toilet is the same, yeah. This old style toilet, and the bed is over here. You got some ship's components over here. If you press this one, then you can see this weapon rack will be raised in the middle, which is a new feature. Yep, you can decorate your ship with weapons in here. Now, this thing in here, just be aware. So you can see, basically it looks like the Salvation over there. I believe that it's really copied directly from the Mantis variants for the Salvation. And you can see the self-destruction in here. Again, be careful. Don't be so excited when you're flying this thing around and fighting against NPCs. All of a sudden, you self-destruct in here. You've got 1 minute to eject yourself, which you can't really. As a fighter, you can see the sight is really obstructed, because this is a mantis. It's not meant to be, you know, a fighter after all. But since you've got a lot of guns at the front, you can consider this ship is very good at hit and run tactics, but still, I don't think it's a very good choice for CIG to choose this thing as a heavy fighter. That's to be honest. Really. And the War 1 price of this ship is about 240, I believe, while... Stop pushing me. While I believe that right now it's 260 if standard price, which is quite expensive. But it matches to the other heavy fighter categories, if that price point. But just simply, I don't really think this is supposed to be a heavy fighter. Okay, so let's move on. Okay, so this is the biggest elephant in this IAE room, which is the RSI Perseus, and it is the biggest new ship available in IAE as well. So basically, this ship is, well, I still remember when I was doing the concept video about the ship, people were getting mad when I was talking about this ship is being, I mean, it would be killed by fighters. And they would say that, like, heavy armor and stuff. Yes, indeed, probably heavy armor will save the ship from getting destroyed. But basically, no matter how you, defend the ship, still, it will be very vulnerable to against fighters. Not light fighters, maybe heavy fighters with torpedoes. Although these kind of point defense turrets will help a little bit, so that you don't need to keep on using your flares and decoys. Just to be fair, like, these kind of point defense turrets is necessary, because even for Hammerhead itself, when you fully manned those turrets, still, you have a hard time to, you know, take down those incoming torpedoes. So this ship probably is reasonable for you to have these kind of point defense turrets to defend the ship from incoming missiles. But anyway, yeah, still, you are not supposed to use this thing to, depends on this thing to against heavy fighters a lot, because it's still vulnerable. Now, this is a personal elevator that get inside of a ship, so that you don't need to keep on using this cargo elevator, as you can see in here. And this cargo elevator, it seems like they improved a little bit, so that you can hold around 96 SCU, it seems like, instead of 50 originally designed. And you got 2 docking collar in here, which is very useful. But now you can use hangers, then use hangers. Why you need to bother to use the docking collar anyway? It's hard to park, after all. Now this one here is a lower deck, and you can get into one of those size 8 twin mounted man turrets. And they change a little bit of things, because originally it's supposed to be twin mounted size 7 guns, but now it's like basically size 8, the Medusa cannon, but still ballistic. And you have 900 rounds, which is much more than I thought, which is very great. I mean, you don't need to keep on resupplying the gun so often, which is very great. And also, they added 2 size 3 ballistic Gatling guns, it seems like, which is good as well, because basically, you really need a little bit more firepower against incoming lighter craft. So, well, you have a better chance to, save yourself. But anyway, as I said, it's not very good at dealing with a bunch of fighters after all. So don't depend on these kind of Gatling guns, can save you a lot. And this is a main elevator for you to like go through all 3 decks. And here is the torpedo bay, which is size 5 torpedoes in here. You can load it by putting the torpedoes directly from this cargo bay to here, and everything are visible, so you don't need to worry about, like, if you really need to I mean, there's no problem of resupplying these torpedoes from the cargo bay, which is very great. And the other side would be the same. It's symmetrical. And there's a ladder for you to go upstairs. And this one is the back of the ship. And these are escape pods, which is very useful in the future. And you got ladders and main elevators again. And here is a crew quarter. You got a little beds in here. And the armory in here for you to put suits and guns in here. And you got a bathroom. And got yourself a mirror. Okay, so you can see this one is a the mess hall. So it will be very useful in the future, but not for now. Oh, by the way, I forgot one more thing. And at the back of the ship, which is from here, the mess hall and the crew quarter, it will be the engineering room. So all the repair will be happening here, probably. Which is very nice. And at the front, more escape pods and control system of those torpedoes. If you need to load it, you load it in here probably. And also the upper turret. Again, the same as the turret down there. So basically, twin mounted size 8 Medusa ballistic cannon, and also with 2 size 3 Gatling guns. And this person, not so sure what he's doing, but anyway, yeah. You have a very clear line of sight. Probably will be better than in the bridge as well, which is very cool. Not so sure whether you guys have problem with the audio, but what I can hear right now is basically, oh, this one is like a elevator to raise it or lower it. But anyway, my audio is a little bit ruined. I hope that it's not affecting you guys. But if it is, then sorry about that. And this one you can go for the upper deck here. Because you don't have ladders. I mean, you have ladders in here, but you know, you don't have the other staircase. And here is the captain's quarter, which is very reasonable because if you got anything happen, then you probably want to find your captain right away instead of going all the way down there to find your captain. And you got an like extra door in here, which is a potential threat to the bridge. But anyway, if you close it, you have like a lot of doors. It seems like it's got 3 doors in total, which is very nice to defend your bridge from, you know, EVA enemies. And you got 3 different seats in here. Co-pilot, remote gunner seat probably, and also the pilot seat in the middle. So I'm not so sure whether he finished using it or not, but anyway, yep, the view itself is very good. Not lying about it. And this chair, it seems like it's a little bit bugged. Yeah, it's bugged, so that's why I can't really interact with it, it seems like. So here comes a pilot seat. So the pilot himself can control all the torpedoes, but that's it. You have nothing to do instead of those torpedoes, because you can't enslave those guns with the under your control anyway. You need to have friends with you. So yeah, if you run out of friends, then very unfortunate for you. You're flying a very big ship, a chunky ship with, you know, very less useful stuff in here. Alright, so let's go to the other ships. Inside of another showroom, you can see this is a new ground vehicle, the Greycat MDC. I'm not so sure what kind of thing I should say about this thing. Basically, it just simply CIG want to create another new vehicle by doing a lot less things. They just put the point defense turret on top of a vehicle and pretend it's a new ship. New vehicle. In theory, I won't say it's not useful, because at some point, comparing to us, players, these kind of point defense turret will have an easier time to, shoot down incoming missiles and torpedoes. But at what cost, anyway? Why you need a vehicle to, bring this thing around anyway? Not so sure why. But anyway, yeah. So basically, it's the MTC. I believe that it's called MTC, right? Is it that thing? Yeah. This thing's variant. And your interior would be a little bit less, shorter distance, I would say, like a smaller room interior. But basically, all the system will be the same. Yeah. So right now, the price is unknown because, well, it's not available on the website yet, so no one knows how much it would be cost, but simply not more than 100. Probably about 50, 60s, something. Yeah. And this thing here, yep, the MTC, is relatively new ship or vehicle, I would say. It's very bulky, which is very nice. And also you'll have this like gunner seat in here. You can see he's, sitting over there and controlling the gun. But to be honest, you don't have to if you're like, really driving this thing alone, because a driver can really control the turret as well, so you don't need to worry. The interior, you can see it is a little bit bigger, which is great. And also you got some storage, which is the same as the MTC over there. You can put 4 small boxes in here. So comparing to that thing, I think this is more useful, a little bit more useful. So yeah, not so sure why CIG needed to create this thing. Okay, let's move on. On the other side of the showroom, you can see this is a Golem OX. It's a variant of the Drake Golem. Still Drake ship, but like a Golem is a starter mining ship, which is quite nice to use. Although, well, I personally used it, but when I was using it, those interface got some problems. It's not showing something, I don't know, because at that time the patch is quite broken. So yeah, so this Golem OX is you can consider it's a transport, or not transport, it's a cargo variant of the Golem. So Golem is supposed to like put it's 32 SU mining pods at the back of the ship. While this thing can carry 64 SCU worth of cargo, I believe that it would be maybe 32 SCU worth of cargo. I don't know. Like, it seems like you can, but not for sure practically. So let's see. Maybe when it's it's rentable, then I will try it out. So your cockpit would be right here. Just like a Salvation and the Golem, you just have this interior. Basically, that's it. That's the only interior you got. And I believe that you have tractor beams as well for this thing, which you enter remote turret. Yep. So basically, it borrowed a little bit function from the raft as well, it seems like, which is very great. And let's look at those 3 triplets in here. Why they need to arrange 3 similar or maybe the same NPC in here. My god. Anyway, just like a Golem, you have a lot of components in here, but don't expect yourself to be able to swap anything when you load up with cargo in here, because it's just blocking you from, repairing your stuff. So yeah. Not functional. Anyway. Yep, just like this. Alright, but if you have a container in here, it's just like blocking this panel, so you can't really do anything with it. So yeah, this one is the Golem OX. Let's see whether the player likes it or not. I kind of think that it's just CIG being lazy again, a little bit, by putting a variant in here instead of making a new ship. Okay, let's move on. And now, ladies and gentlemen, this chunky thing with wings, we call it Drake Clipper. So, this thing basically is... how should I describe it? It looks like a failure from CIG implement anything modular and decided to put everything inside of the ship. So basically this ship is all in one. So that's why you can see it's very chunky. Yeah, I really don't know what kind of thing I should say about it. I would say this ship is too large for a single person to fly at some point. But yeah, here we are. You have an elevator in here, basically. Just like this. You can access upstairs quite easily. While you have another ramp in here to put some cargo in here. And if you decide to, climb up from here, it's okay. It just like borrowed some sort of concept from the Vulture. And you got some engineering thing in here, which you got 2 engines. And you got a medical bed. Just like the medevac or, the Terrapin, the Terrapin medical. And over here, sorry, I'm not wearing a helmet, so that's why there's lack of light in here. This thing looks like a crafting station in the future. I'm not so sure, but it seems like it will be. And over here, basically is the elevator, the personal elevator I just called down. And you got some weapon racks and a suit locker in here. Just like, a little bit looks like the Vulture in this case. And you got another ladder This thing is a flying tower, to be honest. And you got a living quarter. And the upper stairs of the engineering room. Yeah, so basically this is a flying tower with wings. And your pilot seat is here. So, to be honest, not so sure what CIG is thinking, but yeah, here we are. We got this chunky ship with all the functions stuck in the same ship. And expecting players to like the ship. Yeah. Personally, not really a big fan of it. And probably it won't be cheap as well, so yeah. Mind my head. Oh, it's a ladder. Okay. This is the ladder I came down from. Okay. And yeah, I'm stuck. I hate that. Anyway, let's exit from the ship first. And yeah, there you go. And now you guys are looking at one of the new Vandal replica ship, which is a Stinger. So before the Stinger, we only have Blade, we have a Glaive, as well as a Scythe, I believe. But yeah, they decide to implement one more Vandal replica ship, which is the Stinger. It's a heavy fighter. It's quite powerful. You got a lot of guns. But this ship, as a fighter, it flies like a truck. So it means that even for PvE, you may have a harder time to really kill your target. And who pushed me? Okay. Anyway, I actually went into one of these ships before. Not really a big fan of it, because I think this ship got a lot of wasted area. You can do much better than this. So this is the only way for you to enter the ship. The good thing is you don't have like ladders. You got a ramp, but this ramp you can't really do anything with. I mean, this interior you can't really put anything inside. It's just like these guns, and also you have this thing here to close the ramp. And yeah, you have some fuses in here. And talk about lights. I believe that the light itself, yeah, if it's lights off, then it will be much brighter than the lights on. See? I mean, because of red to yellow, maybe. Or emergency would be a little bit better as well. Now, this thing, it looks like a blade. It's just like having a bike-like style cockpit. So you are riding it instead of really doing seating position, in a sitting position. But here is something that is wasted, because you don't need to make that rail that long, right? It's just like crossing half of the ship. I mean, half of the interior is this rail in order to get all the way to the front. So yeah, great job. I think you can do a little bit better. See? This whole entire area is wasted. And just be aware, if you decided to carry a person, just tell them be careful, because you can see after this rail being moved all the way to the front, you have some spaces in here like this, right? But if that person decided to, go to washroom and just leave the pilot seat, then probably you're being pushed all the way back. Or if worst scenario would be like being pushed out of a ship for some reasons. So just be careful. Now speaking of firepower, basically Um, I mean, if you have a strong firepower, yeah, I think you got a very strong firepower. I believe that those are size 4 guns, and this thing is size 5, I believe. But still, it's quite. I mean, it's not quite enough because if your ship is that slow, then basically it's not very useful, right? It looks like a flying truck. So comparing to the Meteor, I'd rather fly the Meteor instead of this. Yeah. So, to be honest, I don't really like this ship. Alright, never mind. If you like it, then you can fly it around first and you will see what I mean, but yeah, basically I don't like it. Let's move on to the other ship. And over here you can see this thing is called the Prowler utility, which is one of those CIG lazy products, I believe. I'm not trying to say bad things about CIG, but just like seriously, you really like making this ship for what, cargo, carrying cargo in here. This thing only can carry up to 32 SU worth of cargo. So 16 here, the biggest cargo container that you can carry on one side, and 16 over here. 2. That's it. That's the only thing you can carry. Yes, of course, this thing is very stealthy, and you know, if you try to smuggle something, then probably this thing is one of the choices. But I mean, if you really need to make these kind of ship with that low cargo capacity, I mean, it's a cargo ship, right? And if you really need to make this kind of ship with small cargo capacity, which is a cargo ship originally, then can you give a little bit more, feature? Like, for example, if you say, like, hey, this ship is very stealthy, and also one more thing, your cargo grid is kind of shielded, so it means that no one can scan what you carry. That's fine, right? I mean, at least you have more reasons to, let players to purchase the ship. But hey, it's just being stealthy. But if you get too close, then obviously you can see it, right? And one more thing, if you really want to fly a cargo ship, I mean, why you need to be stealthy anyway? Except for running some sort of sensitive cargo. But if you run some sensitive cargo, then you don't need to be stealthy. You need to be shielded, right? And blend in instead of being stealthy. Because if you try to sneak through, then basically everyone knows that you're up to something, right? Yeah, so not so sure why CIG need to do that. But anyway, yeah, let's move on inside first. Just like the Prowler, you got an interior ramp in here. And you can see this guy is trapped. Or he's enjoying himself, I don't know. Anyway, comparing to the Prowler, these kind of seats are ran out already. Like, you're supposed to have a lot of jump seating here. But now it's replaced by this kind of cargo grid. And you only have these kind of seats in here. And you can put some carry cargo boxes in here, the tiny ones. And you got a co-pilot seat, which is the same as the pilot seat upstairs. I mean, the interface. And here comes a pilot seat. Just like a Prowler. Basically, the upper structure is not changed at all. So when you activate it, probably you can see through this these places here. Then yeah, it looks very cool, but not ideal. And also you have downsided guns as well. So comparing to comparing to the Prowler, which is having size 5 weapons, this thing only got size 4 weapons at most. So these guns, that's what I'm talking about. These are size 4 guns. But for the Prowler, you got size 5s. So yeah. and it worth for like $300 to buy it, I believe. Yeah, so it's quite expensive for a cargo ship with only 32 SU cargo space. Alright, let's move on. In front of you guys is the last flyable new ship in this IAE, which is the Paladin, the Anvil Paladin. It's considered as a medium gunship, which is a little brother of the Hammerhead. But, well, I would say it's a more efficient Hammerhead compared to the Hammerhead itself. So basically, this is a gunship, as I said already. But your firepower is not that weak. So, yeah. Anyway, let's take a look first. This ship doesn't come up with much cargo capacity, only a few. And also, those cargo boxes cannot be that big because this ramp is actually the only way for you to get in and out of the ship. So it means that your cargo boxes probably cannot be exceeding, 2 SCU containers. And your cargo grid is here. You can put a few boxes in here. So cargo running is not really an ideal job for this ship, after all. And over here at the front of this lower layer will be 2 remote gun seats in here, which you can control. Let's see in here. So basically you can control those the side remote turrets in here, which provide a little bit more firing arc comparing to the time that when pilot is the one who using it. So if you really want to defend your ship a little bit better, then it probably would be better if you let someone to control these guns instead of letting the pilot to do it by him or herself. And there's a ladder code to go up there, which I don't really like. Oh, by the way, this one, the entrance is itself is an armory after all. You've got some suits in here and some guns in here as well. And also, if you don't really want to use a ladder, use this staircase would be better, which is very great. Although it occupies some space, but still, it's fine. You've got a small canteen in here, and you've got some crew quarter in here, and there. It's symmetrical. And the engineering room, which all the components would be here. And you've got a very beautiful, traditional Valkyrie or Asgard-like toilet. And this thing can let you to enter the pilot seat, which I took the seat first comparing to that guy, which is great. So the pilot can really control these guns at the side. You can see it in here. So basically you can see in here. Yep, there you go. Now these guns can be controlled by pilot if there's no remote gunners. But for the big turret, which is, the quad size 5 turret, would be controlled by this co-pilot. Which is great. I mean, if you enter the remote turret like this, which need to take some time. Never mind. I'm so sure why. There you go. So this is a lower position. If you're doing some strafing run or supporting ground forces, probably you want to deploy like this. But there's a key binding which I forgot what is it. But anyway, if you retract it like this, then you can see actually the remote turret is moving like this, just like a Scorpius. And now you can engage anything that's upper part of a ship, which is great. Right, so when you're doing ship-to-ship combat, probably you will keep it like this way, while you're doing supporting ground troops, then you do it on the other way. So basically, this turret can protect the ship, basically in different angles, but one at a time. You can't defend lower part of the ship when your turret is up there like this. And this ship itself originally is supposed to be in concept cell. It would be 300, and Warborn would be 275 at that time. But they increased the price obviously after they are flyable. It will increase up to 325 for Warborn and 350 right now for standard price, which is very expensive, and you really need a friend to play with you. If not, well, this ship is not very efficient anymore. So yeah, but anyway, it's a very interesting ship. You got a lot of missiles after all. Yeah, compared to the Hammerhead, it's easier to crew. You just need at most 4 people instead of 7 people in total, and yeah, you need to wait for an hour or 2 in order to get all the people on board. While this thing probably you need to spend a little bit less, which is great, right? Alright, so basically that's it for today's video about this 2955 IAE. I hope you enjoy, and yeah, and let's see you in the future. Bye bye.